Top of the morning to you. Ooh. Sorry about that. Behind me, you are looking at pretty much everything I own. It's all here. It's just, this is it. Got a 10 by 20 tent shed full of junk, so excuse the mess. There's a scooter in there I paid maybe $1,200 for several years ago. We have got a 2011 Toyota Matrix that I bought for $3,000. And we have a 1994 Skyline Aljo travel trailer full of all of my possessions, of course, which I paid $4,000 for over 7 years ago. This is it. This is what I own right here. Minimalism. Obviously, over the years, I've had to put more money than just the $3,000 I paid for this into this car. And obviously, this trailer cost me more than just $4,000 that I initially paid for it. Slight upgrades in here, but nothing major. Painted some walls. Never did paint the cupboards, as you can see. I just kind of left those. Redid the floors, ripped out the old carpet, put stick down tile, you know, basic stuff. Anyway, the point of this video, if you're wondering, which I'm sure you are by now, is just really to discuss the cost of full-time RV living. Now, having said that, my situation is going to be different than someone else's. It depends on a lot of different factors. For example, my RV is stationary. If you're a nomad on the road living in an RV, your expenses are going to be way different than mine. Also, geographical location. I'm in Canada. The prices that I pay here might be different than the prices that you pay in whichever country you're in. It is now June. For the month of May 2024, which was last month, I kept track of all of my spending. I saved every receipt. I categorized every expense. I like to do this from time to time. I've done it several months ago. I've done it several years ago. It's just really interesting and sometimes a little scary to see where you're spending your money and maybe where you can make improvements. So on this sheet of paper, on the other side, of course, that you can't see, I have my expenses for May of 2024 listed from 1 to 10, 1 being the highest expense, 10 being the lowest expense. And I'm going to share that with you. Let me tell you, when I did this, and every time before that I did this, it's always a little shocking to me. Prices, as you know, have gone way up. And I don't go crazy. I'm not running around buying clothes or getting my nails done. You guys, you know me if you've been around here. Anyway, most important thing to note is that everyone's situation, everyone's expenses are going to be different. I am a little shocked at mine, to be honest with you, because like I said, I don't go crazy with shopping, or I don't buy anything unnecessary usually, so yeah, it shocked me. Let's go ahead and get started, but first, I need to make some lunch because your girl is hungry. Leave it steamy, baby. Smash burger. Yep. Oh, Lord. Yeah. Really, if you haven't had one of these, give them a whirl. Look at that cheese. Look at the cheese strings. Whoops, dropping lettuce. Yeah. Little Reese peanut butter caramel cup for dessert. Okay. Now I feel better. That actually brings me to the #1 expense on my list for May of 2024. The highest cost for me was groceries. Yeah. Gotta keep a full fridge, you know? Keep in mind, Included in groceries, paper towel, toilet paper, toiletries, cosmetics. I include all of that in groceries because for me, groceries is like a one-stop shop. You go to Walmart, you get what you need. I didn't categorize things too much here. I've got it categorized from 1 to 10 to simplify it a bit for you. But groceries was my highest expense for the month of May, and it cost me a whopping $580.49. Number 1 expense for the month of May, groceries. Stuff's not cheap, and it's only going to get worse. Brings us to the second largest expense for me for the month of May, living this lifestyle. Pets. Pets. That might not be on everyone's list. Maybe you don't have pets. If you guys have been around, you know I have 2 furry little roommates. We got Ramsey over here. He's so sleepy he can't open his eyes. All right, buddy, go back to bed. And Rory, who's somewhat camera shy most of the time. Yeah. Pets, for me, for the month of May, cost $352.87. I also want to mention that that does not include vet visits because for the month of May, which was last month, there were no vet visits. That was just food and litter. Yeah. The litter that I get costs about $30 a box. I get like a huge box of it, probably twice a month, like bi-weekly I would say. And Ramsey has been overly fussy with food lately, so I've been getting him just a large variety of different foods to try, so that's where a lot of that cost comes from. It usually doesn't cost this much. I have done this in the past, and the cats actually cost me half of that, I would say. Rory is on a vet food because of his crystals that he had several months ago. But believe it or not, Ramsey's food that I get at the pet store is actually more expensive than Rory's food that I get at the vet. I don't know. Oh, that's the empty one. Okay. Number 3, highest expense, fuel. That includes fuel to fill those jerry cans for the generator, which I don't run very much, but I did fill 2 of those jerry cans in the month of May. And the rest is just fuel that I put in my gas tank in my car to get to and from work. I work a full-time job, so I'm driving from here to work, you know, on my working days, and it adds up. So number 3 is fuel. And fuel for the month of May cost me $293.89. That does not include diesel because I actually did not need to fill my diesel can for the month of May. I already had a full can, so diesel fuel, $0. I did, however, include the cost of filling one of these 30-pound propane tanks and my 11-pound propane tank out here that I use for my water heater for the shower. I don't know, propane's kind of like fuel, right? I needed to compile my expenses, so I included propane in there. I think it ended up being, separately from the fuel, it was like $47. I didn't actually need that 30-pound tank filled. Basically, I like to have a backup supply so that when I run out of something, I'm not scrambling and being like, oh, I have to run to town to get this, oh no, I ran out. Number 4. 4th highest expense for me for the month of May. I compiled these 3 things: donations, gifts, and lottery. It's going to include, you know, if there are birthdays in the month of whatever month you're doing your breakdown for. Mother's Day was in May, so that's going to be included in that as well. As far as lottery, every once in a while I will do like a 50-50, which is kind of like a donation at the same time. You're putting money towards something that is like a fundraiser, but it's a lottery, so like 50% of the proceeds go towards whatever fundraiser and 50% goes towards the winner. So donations, gifts, and lottery, number 4 on the list, coming in at $238.86. That's not always going to be that high, but I guess there were some gifts that I had purchased in May and also some donations that I did in May. Number 5, miscellaneous. Sometimes you can't really categorize things, and that's coming in at $219.84. Miscellaneous includes things like kindling. I put that under that category because that's something I need to get every now and again. Tools that I might need if I'm working on a project. Yeah, honestly, just random things that you can't really categorize anywhere else would fall under miscellaneous. If you guys don't know, if you're new here, I do live off-grid and I don't have any debt. And I was able to minimize my debt or get rid of it completely by living this way. I don't think I would have been able to do it any other way, to be honest with you. Having said that, number 6 on the list of expenses for May is bills. My bills are very minimal. I don't pay rent. I don't have a mortgage. I don't pay a credit card bill because I don't have debt. So my bills literally consist of my cell phone, which is my line of communication, and I also don't have internet, so I use the internet on my cell phone when I get service, because Lord knows I don't get the best service here. That is bill number 1. Bill number 2, insurance. Everybody needs it, whether you have auto insurance, home insurance. So combined, my cell phone bill and insurance cost me $167.73 for the month of May, and that's usually pretty standard for every month. So my bills combined cost me less than $200 a month. Can't complain. I can't complain. Number 7 on the list, vehicle maintenance. Everybody has to do it. And some months are going to be different than other months. Some months you might have to get your brakes done. You might have to replace your rotors. Maybe you need a motor job. I don't know. But some months are definitely going to be worse than others. Some months vehicle maintenance might actually be the number 1 expense in the month, depending. Some months pets might be the number 1 expense if you have a vet bill that month. Having said all that, vehicle maintenance coming in at number 7 for the month of May cost $125.55. Now all I had done was an oil change, and then I ordered an oil filter for my scooter before I did the oil change on that. So combined it was $125.55 for vehicle maintenance. Number 6, highest expense on the list, medications, vitamins, supplements, it all adds up. The cost of these things are quite high. That's why I separated them from my regular grocery category. If you're someone who buys supplements or vitamins, I mean, that stuff's not cheap. A lot of it's like $30 a bottle. So that's why I put this under a category of its own. And it is coming in at number 8. For the month of May, medications, vitamins, supplements cost me $120.65. When I say medications, I mean like Tylenol, Aleve, whatever, that sort of thing. And obviously vitamins, supplements. I take collagen, I take iron. You know, maybe I take CBD gummies, whatever. It all adds up. None of it's cheap. Are you still with me? We have 2 more expenses on the list. But we're getting to the lower end of the, it's starting to cost less now, okay? So just relax. I think we might need a beer for this one. Yep. Ooh. Cheers. Oh yeah. You guys know I like my beer or my vodka soda, so obviously it had to make it on this list. Coming in at number 9, beer. Can we call it the fun fund? I don't know. Beer fund. Everybody's got a vice. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I like to drink beer sometimes. So number 9 is alcohol, and it cost me $110.91 for the month of May. Sometimes I stock up. Just, you know, you gotta have a supply. That's all. Yeah, see what I'm saying? You gotta stock up. Variety. Variety. So that brings us to number 10. The last expense on the list for the month of May. Number 10 on my list was fast food / restaurants. This varies month to month. In the month of May, I actually didn't go out to eat like once at a restaurant. That's not always the case, but for the month of May, I guess I was a little bit more of a homebody. I don't know. For the month of May, I had fast food once, which was a Tim Hortons breakfast on my way to work because I was running late.
Not unusual, but...
Yeah, I didn't have time to eat, so I grabbed a breakfast wrap and a cappuccino, and it cost me $9.75. So what did all 10 of those expenses total for the month of May? Well, let me put my beer down and get out my piece of paper because it's written down. I added this up several times on my calculator because I wanted to make sure it was correct. And the total might shock you because it shocked me. It's really quite scary considering I don't pay rent or a mortgage or really have much for bills. But for the month of May, my total expenses cost me $2,220.54. Yeah, living is not cheap. It's not cheap. Sorry, I came back inside because it's kind of breezy out there and I have no idea how bad the audio will be. So that's it. That's it. The results are in. And yeah, like I said, kind of shocked me considering I don't go overboard with purchases or anything like that. I'm not buying things that I don't usually need. I didn't even buy any clothes in the month of May. I didn't even go to a restaurant. And still, it's unreal. It's unreal. So the takeaway is you're spending more than you think. And even living this way cost me more than I thought. It just really puts things into perspective. You know, if my expenses, which don't include rent, mortgage, really much for bills, cost me that much, you know, how badly are people struggling that do have to pay those things or have a lot of bills? It's just, it's scary, but it's kind of the world today. We're living in hard times. I also want to mention too that in this list of expenses, I did not include what gets taken from me from every paycheck that I get from my full-time job, because I lose some to my health and dental. I lose quite a bit in taxes, and about 17% of every pay of mine I put into an RRSP as well. So I did not include that in this list of expenses. Full disclosure, you know, I'm not, I don't care. Judge me if you want. I already live a different lifestyle than most, so I get judged enough just from that. So just kind of wanting to make it known just how expensive life is these days. So, you know, if you're thinking about living this lifestyle to save money,
you better have a side hustle.
I'm just kidding. Well, sort of. Obviously, improvements can be made on my list of expenses. I don't need to buy alcohol. I don't need to donate to fundraisers or play the lotto sometimes. There are things that I could do to save more money. But I want to mention that for the month of May, I did not budget. I wasn't running around getting all the sales at the grocery stores. You know, I do the one-stop shop thing at whatever place is cheapest. That's where I do my shopping at. So I wasn't budgeting, but I also wasn't just going crazy. So I think that is going to be it from me here. This was a lot of talking in this video, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what it costs. Like I said, everyone's going to be different. I'm in Canada. I work full-time. I'm not a nomad. I'm not moving around. You know, there's a lot of factors that it's going to be different for everyone. Regardless, I encourage you to do the same, just so you can take a look at where your money's going, and maybe you can, you know, make improvements as you need to. But it's very eye-opening. It's very, very eye-opening. With that being said, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye. Rory and Ramsey, do you guys know that you cost me $352.87 every single month? Rory, you guys are expensive roommates. I think you're gonna need to help out a little more around here, okay? When I'm at work, sweep the floors, do the dishes. Hey? Some months, vehicle might... Sorry about that. I'm still thinking about that smash burger. Some months, vehicle might... Oh, I have to put this in the outtakes or something.